Hello, this video is about Defenders, a fast-paced tower defense board game. The peculiarity of Defenders is to successfully combine a parallel mechanic, where all players do their actions simultaneously on their own board, and very interactive gameplay, where each player controls the monsters sent to their neighbors. This combination gives the game a unique feeling, where players are deep into the game and they don't realize an hour has passed. In French, we say jeu de société, which is a social game. And I want to spend a nice moment together with my friends when I play it. Not to play in isolation next to my friends, so it's not a multi-mono-player game. Which would have been the case if I had made a pure adaptation of a tower defense video game. So the idea for Defenders was to redesign the tower defense mechanic in order to account for board game constraints, make it more interactive so that these player-to-player interactions are the core of the game system. So let me show you a brief overview of the game sequence in order to show you how it works. So this is a situation in the middle of the game. Each player has their own city to defend. And we are now at the beginning of a new turn. The first step in a new turn is the arrival of new monsters. So each player will draw 3 cards of progressively more and more powerful monsters. This is the level of the monsters we draw. And let's say this turn I pick 3 level 2 monsters. I will add them to the ones I kept from previous turns and put them in my hand. So this is now my new hand. Then each player takes 2 of these monsters and put them to their neighbors. So let's say I put this necromancer here, and I'm going to put this guardian here to my right neighbor. This is done simultaneously for all players, so everybody should have received 2 new monsters. Let's say I have received these 2 monsters. Each of these monsters has a life track on the border. So we put a cube of the color of the attacker. So blue has sent me this monster, red has sent me this one, to the maximum life of these monsters. Some of these monsters have an entry effect. In green here in the background, this little logo says that the blue player will resolve that effect when the monster is revealed. In that case, blue benefits from the effect of stealing from me 1 coin. This is done simultaneously in every player city if there are arrival effects. The next stage in the turn is to assign damage from the building. Each building has both a direction to deal damage and the number of damage they deal. So when there are 2 monsters on the same square, the defender is free to assign the damage to any one of them. Let's take for example this one. 2 damage can be done on 1 monster, either the healer or the leprechaun. Let's say I do 2 damage to the leprechaun, and to do this I just flip the building. This building can deal damage diagonally or in front of it, so it can also deal 2 damage to the same monster. At that stage, the leprechaun is dead. I put it in the trophy pile, which is the pile of monsters I have killed so far, and immediately I receive the reward for having defended the city. So this is 4 coins, which I had to my reserve. At the end of the game, I will also count the victory points that this monster gives me. So every player does this simultaneously, and we flip the buildings one by one until every player has dealt their damage. Some of these monsters have permanent effects during the damage phase, such as this satiric jester here. I must assign the damage of these 2 buildings to the jester, and this would prevent me from killing that scavenger. Hence, the player in blue will earn 1 coin because that monster died during my turn. Damage has been dealt in all cities, so now comes the progression phase. Monsters are progressing and moving 1 square forward in all cities. And these 2 monsters join on the central square. Then we apply the exit effects. As usual, it is the attacker who benefits from the exit effect, so in this case it's the blue player who receives 3 coins. All exit effects are done simultaneously in all cities. Finally, we have the city upgrade phase, where players can spend their coins in order to buy new buildings on the market. In this case, I'm going to spend these 5 coins in order to buy that building. It comes in replacement with an existing building, and I put it here because I really don't want to take any risk and I want to kill that goblin tunneler before the end of the next turn. Once this is done, we are ready for a new turn. Players will draw new cards and put new monsters, and the game will progress until the end, after turn 8. Then we do one final damage phase and the game is finished. Players can count their victory points, -1 for each monster remaining on the path. In conclusion, this is a very accessible game, simple and efficient. There is no notion of a player's turn. The game is run entirely in parallel, where at the same time it remains very interactive. The game has been very well tested. The main difficulties were to balance the attention the players have to dedicate to their own board versus their neighbors, and to balance the monster effects, of course. Now this is done, the game runs very smoothly. In fact, we could see Defenders as a game system. This version could be the basic box, and it's easy to add new monsters, new card types even, like events that could be bought at the same time as the buildings. Or it could be easy to create thematic variations, for example. In any case, if the game is successful, we can easily create more expansion sets. Thanks for having watched this video, and do not hesitate to contact me for more information or if you have questions. Thank you.